All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. Will be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's week is off to a phenomenal start, and we're ready to dive into these charts. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. So we're going to dive into the fundamentals, take a look at some things that transpired yesterday and this morning, and then we will dive into these charts. So let's get to it. Real quick, just drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Had to make some small changes this morning to my audio. Perfect. Appreciate it. All right. So trading economics. All right. First up, UK wage growth remains elevated. Average weekly earnings, including bonuses in the UK, rose by 6.9% in the 3 months to May 2023, the most since August 2021. And the regular pay went up 7.3% in the same seen last month, and the highest since the pandemic from April to June. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate unexpectedly rose to 4%, the highest since Q4 of 2021 and above expectations of 3.8. Right, so a little bit of mixed data, but that wage growth is pressing to the upside there. Then we had German investor morale slumps to a 7-month low. China June bank loans beat forecast. So some money is starting to move a little bit in China. And then European shares rose for the second day. Take a look at this one. Second consecutive session on Tuesday as investors digest key economic data while anticipating the U.S. CPI figures on Wednesday and the start of the U.S. earnings season later this week. Germany's inflation rate in June was confirmed at 6.4%. Breaking the trend of a steady decline since the beginning of the year. Additionally, the UK unemployment rate unexpectedly rose to 4%, while wage growth rates exceeded expectations. Investors are now optimistic that signs for further moderation in price pressures in the U.S. will reinforce expectations for the Federal Reserve's tightening cycle to come to an end. Furthermore, traders are hopeful for a new round of easing measures in China as part of the efforts to bolster the economy's property sector. On the corporate side, Daimler Truck has raised its profit and revenue guidance due to easing on supply chain constraints and stronger demand in its core markets. All right. So we got some investor optimism in the market, right? They're thinking the Fed will continue to shift their tone and change their narrative when it comes to inflation. All right. And interest rates. So we'll see. Got some key things happening this week that we'll have to keep our eyes on to see if that continues to change. All right. Over to the calendar. We did have Governor Bailey speak on a couple occasions, Sunday and Monday. And in those conversations, he said that more interest rate increases will be necessary as inflation is still, I believe the word he used was unreasonably high. And then there was conversation about the potential of changing the 2% target. And he confirmed in a very strong way that they will not be shifting the target of 2% inflation. They'll just stick to their path of rate hikes until they're able to get to that point. So he was pretty firm in that stance. So we'll continue to monitor that as it goes. CPI for China came in above expectation. CPI and PPI came in above expectation for China. Then we had what was it? Claremont change. This is the number of unemployed individuals, the people filing for unemployment benefits. That was above expectation coming out of the UK. And this is the average hourly earnings number and the unemployment rate there. And then German economic sentiment, right? Negative 14.7, right? So that came in a little bit below the expectation. And then later on today, we have the news coming out of New Zealand on their cash rate statement. They are expected to hold rates. We'll see what transpires there tonight. Then tomorrow, Governor Bailey back to the microphone again tomorrow morning. And CPI for the United States. Investors have their eyes there to see how these numbers come out. And that could continue to bolster their thoughts and their positive outlook on inflation if that number comes in at expectation or below expectation. Then you have the rate statement for Canada coming out at 10 a.m. tomorrow, right? They're expected to increase by 25 basis points. So we'll watch that. And then Bank of Canada press conference later on in the day. UK GDP coming in on Thursday. Definitely want to keep our eyes there. And then core PPI for the United States on Thursday as well, with the week wrapping up with preliminary U of M consumer sentiment and U of M inflation expectations. And we got G20 meetings happening this weekend. All right. So busy second half of the week. So we'll continue to watch how things go. All right. Any questions from a fundamental perspective, or did you guys see anything that caught your eye? No. All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts. We'll take a look at the dollar, and then we will make our way through some of these pairs. So the DXY pressing down, right? And we expected this, pressing down, coming into the support level at 12,765. We'll see what happens there, right? With the inflation numbers coming in this week. We'll see if this level holds or if this level gets broken, right? It's going to be key. It's going to be key, right? These two levels here, 12,765 and 12,722. Okay, this zone is going to be key for us to watch. If we break these levels, then this crown pattern, right, we can see potentially start to finish out. And that would also then mean there could have been a shift in narrative out of the from the Fed. All right, could have been a shift in narrative from the Fed or a data shift that gives more optimism in the market. All right, so we will watch that and see how that transpires, right? But we're pressing down into that zone right now, and that's on the daily time frame. So we come to the 4, right, and we see that a little more closely here. Okay, so we'll continue to watch to see throughout the week what happens, and if we get a reversal here, or if we get just a clean break and price continues to fall, right? And we know, right, if price continues to fall, then those dollar crosses are going to continue to rise to the upside, and the dollar pairs are going to continue pressing down, right? But if we get that reversal, then we'll start to see some pullbacks. All right, so that's the DXY. Over to this dollar yen, right? Smash TP1 and TP2, and we're continuing to fall to this daily support, right? And this is the level that we want to watch, 139.885 on the dollar yen. Okay, beautiful move out of the 118, 127 zone, right? TP2 is 309 pips, 417 pips and still counting, right? Not sure if anybody's still holding us to the downside, but it's been a beautiful move. Now we look to see what happens at this key support level. All right. Now we look to see what happens at this key support level to see if we get this reversal and the shift back to the upside. All right. So that data is going to be key. Bank of Japan is their narrative hasn't changed. They're still holding firm on their policy path. They have said if they see inflation moving into their 2% target, and if they get some more positive data for Japan, then 2024 could potentially lead to a policy shift, right? So, but they're still standing firm on where they are, and they don't intend to change that yet, right? So we'll see what happens at this level to see if we get a push back to the upside here, right? So coming back to a higher time frame, just so we can see how it all makes sense. This is on the 4-hour. We did take out that A and pressing down, right? So we'll flip this fib on the 4 and look at it like this, right? And on the 4, we hit a D extension there, and we're coming into that daily support, right? Which we know could then lend to a reversal happening. Oops. Could lend to a reversal coming, right? So we'll watch that and see if we get that swing low to form and we get that pullback. All right, so that's on the 4. Coming back to the daily, we'll run these fibs off the low here. Boom. All right, nope. We'll come to this low and then one more. Boom. All right. So here on the daily, we hit that 382, right? 382 on the daily off the B boundary with that daily support coming there, right? So if we get a turn and we get a break of this B boundary, then that 151.940 level is potentially in play, right? As long as the Bank of Japan isn't changing their narrative, we could see this turnover press to the upside. So we'll watch this and see how things continue to move. But that's what we could be in for if that daily level at 139.885 holds. All right. So we walk backwards in that, I know, but bringing that back full circle, this is where we stand. Okay. Any questions on this dollar yen? No. Cool deal. Boom. Cool. So that's where we are. Let's hop back to, I want to take a look at really all of these yen crosses because they're all moving as expected, right? The Aussie yen pressing down, right? Daily time frame perspective. Overall, we're still bullish, right? But coming back down, we broke some key levels. Okay, so that level no longer, and this is how we look. So we're coming into this daily support, which was previous resistance, right? 93,352. So we want to watch to see this level holds or if it gets broken, right? Same narrative. Yeah. Stick to it, Joy. Stick to it. Hey, it's all right. They're gonna continue to come. All right, we're moving into to some interesting cycles. So I think we're good. Continuing to compound those wins is gonna pay off for us as we continue doing it. So it's a beautiful thing. Great work though. Great work. All these yens ran. They all ran. Yeah, so coming into the support at 93,352, want to look to see if this level holds or if it gets broken, right? Same narrative as the others. So that's going to be key for us to follow there, right? But overall, we got a 50% retracement here. So we're looking for that D extension at 104, 443 to get hit at some point, right? So we'll see if we get that reversal here. Coming down to the 4, there's the move down, right? And that daily support level comes in at an 8.6 retracement. Okay, and the matching D extension puts us at 98,444, right? If we get that reversal at that point. Okay, pull that out. Boom. And that's how we look. Okay, so we're going to watch this level as we continue to move down. And if that level holds, this will be our setup here off the 4. Okay. Boom. Right. So if we get some reversal opportunities here, then we'll be looking at this. Okay. So we'll watch this closely to see what transpires there. 90 pip stop loss, 400 pip potential to the upside. Then that's off the 4. That's not including that daily move running to that 104 level. Okay. So that's on the 4. Coming down to the 1. We're pushing into that 118, 127 zone off of a shallow retracement. So we got some confluence here, right? Daily support level is here just ahead of that D extension, right? So that gives us a little bit of confluence on that 4-hour time frame of that potential reversal opportunity. So we'll watch that zone like that. Okay. We can tighten it down a little bit if you want to here, right? Instead of on the 4, it's a little tighter stop loss. And then on the 1, if you play it off the 1, you can look at it from this perspective here. Okay. Or you can take that entry off the 1 and then monitor it off the 4, right? And ride it back up to that 98,444 level. Okay. So there's a couple options here on how we look at this if we get the reversal, but we want to ensure that we're patient and we wait for those confirmations of the reversal. Okay. So there we go. All right. That's the Aussie yen. There's TP1. And there's TP2. Okay. So that's Aussie yen. Any questions here? Oh, all right. Tons of opportunity coming, right? We'll continue to monitor those. Continue rocking down to the CAD yen. Again, coming into some support levels, right? Just what we're looking for. Okay. Just what we're looking for. So that level got moved there. Boom. All right. So previous resistance. Does this level hold the support? Okay. Does this level hold that support? That's what we're looking to see. Okay. Could potentially push a little lower into this zone here, but beautiful move to the downside. And we'll look at it on the lower time frame, right? And see that move down. But does it hold? Does it hold? Okay. Coming down to the 4, just shy of a 382, right? But daily level. Daily level here. Okay. Beautiful move out of the 118 and 127. We said we may or may not break this level, right? And get to that, fully get to that 382. So we'll watch it and see, right? But out of that zone, right? My entry was there. It's 276 pips to the downside off that resistance level. You're at 365 pips to the downside on that move down. Now we look to see what happens here. Okay. Now we look to see what happens here. So we'll continue to monitor this one, see if we get a bounce here. Okay. So beautiful moves to the downside. We come into the 1 and we took out the A. Boom. right? Full move down that daily level. Does it hold is the question. So we took out the A on that move down. So we flip the fib and run it to the downside. Okay. Let's see. There we go. D extension hit there. So if this level holds, we'll look for a swing low to form and we'll look for a retracement. Right. So all of these yens did what we wanted them to do and gave us these moves. Beautiful, right? With something like over 1,000 pips on these yen crosses to the downside, right? So pressing down in a beautiful way. So let's watch to see what happens here. See if we get a fresh AB boundary and get a reversal. Okay. So that's the CAD yen. Beautiful, beautiful play. Let's see. Total of 362 pips to the downside. All right. Right out of the zone. Okay. So on the move. Beautiful. So we'll watch that to see what transpires throughout the week. See if we get that reversal there. Okay. Questions on the CAD yen? Nope. All right. Sweet. So watching on some of these, right? We're going to be patient and watch to see what happens to see if we get these reversals. Okay. If we bounce back to the weekly, right? On the weekly, looking at the potential, right? We got a 382 push here, double bottom at this weekly support. Okay. So after the retracement, whenever it stalls, right? Matching the extension is here at 114.240. Okay, so we are looking for a reversal at some point unless the narrative in Japan changes, which it hasn't, right? So after this retracement, we'll look for a continuation long. Okay, it's longer term view. Okay, so coming to the euro yen, right? Still coming down. Okay, we looked at it from a higher time frame. That monthly level did not get hit, right? But we're looking at price taking back some of this bullish action that we gave, right? Market likes to take back 50, 60% of these moves. So we're pulling back now, okay? And we could continue to pull back for a bit, and we'll see what transpires as we get lower. We're coming back ultimately to retest the level that we broke out of, right? Resistance there, strong break, pull back, retest, then we'll look for the continuation. On the weekly, that D extension was hit. Once this weekly candle closes, we'll look at a new fib on the weekly that looks like this. Boom. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. So coming into that weekly level, that's the 236 retracement level. Okay. So we'll see what transpires as we get there. Coming down to the daily, this is the push out of the zone, right? Had a 618 retracement, just shy of the daily D extension, right? And we're coming down. So all we're looking for is a pullback to complete, and then we'll look for price to continue pushing to the upside. Okay. Still long euro, just retracements here. Just retracements coming. Okay. So coming down to the 4, here's the 80-20 on that move. Once the fib, there we go. Boom. There's the 80-20 on that move. Still just pressing out of that zone on the 4. Right. And we said we may not get the deep retracement. Right. We may not get this full 1,300 pip move. Right. But we're breaking trend lines, and we'll watch this weekly level at 151,754 to see what transpires. Right. And that's that weekly level, looking for a retest there. Okay. So we'll watch that and see what happens when we get there. Okay. So I'm going to pull these trend lines out because they got broken. Don't need them there anymore. And we're pressing down. Okay. Pressing down. I'm going to remove the box for now also. We know what our targets are. Okay. So I'm going to leave these dotted lines here. This is the daily D extension and that monthly D extension. We'll leave those there just as identifiers for us. We'll also watch this trend line, right? Price has been riding this trend line to the upside. Okay. So we'll watch this also as a potential reversal point here. Right. So we'll see what happens. Likely we'll get to that support level, but we could stall at that trend line as well. So we'll watch that closely. But moving to the downside out of that zone, that's 372 pips so far, right? Potential of a little bit more coming. Okay, so that's the 4 coming down to the 1, right? And we're almost at TP2 on the 1. Okay, there's your look there on the 1, right? That 118, 127 zone, almost at TP2. Okay. So the yens are moving, man. They're moving, right? And what we expected them to do, pushing out of that zone, we're getting the retracements that we wanted. Okay, so we'll monitor again as we get to these lower levels. This one may be a little bit further to go. We'll watch to see though. So this A ultimately could get taken out at some point. Okay. Questions on the euro yen?
No.
All right. So running sub fib off the high here, 618 retracement matching the extension is there, right in line with that TP2 level. Right. So we got some more downward movement there. Okay. So that's that. And then let's take a look at the Swiss yen. This was moving a little bit slower, but it's still pushing out of that zone. All right. Coming off all-time highs. There's your 118, 127 zone on the daily. Create a level of daily resistance, and we're pressing down. All right. Still got a ways to go here. Still got a ways to go. You got 2 safe haven currencies, so we could see some continued bounce back and forth, but pressing down. We do have a previous level of resistance here that we're stalling at right now, but we'll see if we get continued press down at least to that 153.935 level. Okay, coming down to the 4, right? More confluence on that 118, 127 zone. Boom. Okay. Beautiful shift, push down. 225 pips to the downside with more action coming potentially. Okay, so beautiful move so far. Got more to go. 153.958 is that weekly level that we're looking at to see if we get price to come back to. Okay. Now down on the 1, right? We just hit TP1 here on the 1. All right. 80-20s on all levels. Beautiful turn. TP1 achieved 200 pips. Okay. So we're rocking. So now let's monitor these, right, as they come into sweet spots, and let's manage our trade. Make sure our stop losses are in profit. If you're still holding these to the downside, if your TP is already hit, congratulations to you. Great work, right? And we'll look for price to now come into our sweet spots and key support levels and see if we get some reversals out of these. All right. So that's the Swiss yen. Coming to the pound yen. This one I did not take. I'm just sitting and watching, but it's giving us the same action. Giving us the same action. We hit the D extension on the daily time frame, created a new swing high. We'll have a new fib pop in here shortly. And that new fib looks something like that. Right? So we got this daily level that we broke through. This weekly level that we broke through here at 175.014, just below that 236 retracement level, right? So what I'm looking for here is press down and then a press up. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting on, right? That's what I'm waiting on, is to press down into the zone and then see if we get that reversal pushed into that 118, 127 zone here on the daily time frame. Okay. Coming to the 4, right? You didn't quite get into that 118, 127 zone. Okay. Came just shy, and we turned over and pressing down. So that weekly level comes in at a 50% retracement on the 4-hour time frame, right? So same thing applies here. Looking for price to press into that zone. And then look for that. Okay. Coming down to our 1. Here we did have an 80-20 scenario, right? We did press into that 118, 127 zone, and we got the turn. Okay, so we're at TP1 now on the 1 hour, right? For those that took this scenario, this is what it looked like. Okay, TP1 there. And TP2 here. All right, so we're pressing down with more to go, which is cool. All right, kudos to you if you took this off the 1 hour. Okay, so we'll monitor, continue watching, right? Look for that move to the downside, potentially that A get taken out. Okay. Another 300 pips almost to the downside there. Okay. So we're going to watch. Going to watch and see if we get some reversals at the key levels that we're looking at. Okay. Questions on any of these yens?
No.
No? Brandy, you got a question?
No, I said no.
Okay, cool beans. Thank you. All right. So those are the yens. I want to take a look at this the Euro NZD. We'll go through the euros real quick. Euro Aussie. All right, we got this crown pattern working here, right? We're pressing back into this daily level that we reversed out of to create this right tip. Okay. Overall, we did get a 382 on the push down. So now we're looking for price to continue long. 169.671 is the target. Okay. But we got to break this daily level first at 165.189. Coming to the 4. Okay. That's the look on the 4. All right. So we're pressing to the upside, waiting on that level to get broken. Then we'll look for a break and a retest and continuation. Okay. Coming down to the 1. I know I got a lot of lines running here, but this is what we were looking for. Ultimately, the retracement, and then a move to the upside here. Right. So I'll pull these out. And this is what we're getting. Swing to the upside, right? Broke our trend lines and we're moving long. So we'll watch now as we continue moving higher. We know on the higher time frame we got quite a bit to go. Okay, but excuse me, if you're trading this off the 1 hour, you'll have some levels to watch, new fibs form, right? And then we can play those fibs to the upside if we don't want to hold this all the way through. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. We're on the move there. Off the entry there, it's 149 pips so far, with a bit more to go. Okay, so that's the Euro Aussie. That one's moving to the upside as expected. Coming down to Euro CAD. I believe I posted this one in the Discord. Got a couple things happening here that I'm intrigued about. So obviously on the higher time frames, we're pushing to these key levels, right? And we're pulling back. Okay, we're pulling back. Coming down, right? Strong bearish action. We broke the trend line. We're pushing to the upside here, right? So my question is, do we get a retracement before we get a continuation? that's my question here. I am looking for price to come back to this weekly level at 149,264, but do we get a retracement before that? Right. So coming down now to the daily. On the daily, we're coming into a key resistance level here at 146,472. Right. Strong bullish push here. Do we get a retracement to retest the resistance levels that we broke through and then get a continuation? Okay. Oh, that's the question that I'm asking myself and asking the market, right? So as we continue moving down to the 4, on the 4, that daily resistance level is also a 618 retracement, right? Not saying that we'll get a full push down to this level at 142,771, but it's a key level to watch, right? Because we could, again, I'm looking to see if we get a pullback out of that zone to retest these levels and then continue long with our bullish narrative on the euro, right? So that's what I'm looking to see here. Okay. If that happens, it could also potentially, if that level holds, could be in for a potential head and shoulders pattern as well, right? A larger reversal pattern on that push to the upside. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Got a little bit more upside to go to get to that 146 level. But as we come down to the 1, this is what that looks like. Okay, this is what that looks like. So as we be patient on this one, we're in that 118, 127 zone now, but I want to see this daily level tag. Right. So I'm sitting and waiting, allow price to push to the upside. We had a period of consolidation here. We're getting a period of consolidation here. Let's see if we get another push to the upside, just like we did here. Okay. One more push to the upside to get to that level, and then see if we get a reversal out. All right. So that's what I'm looking for here. You're long here. Hey, that's all right. Right. Just as it continues to move in your favor, right? Just monitor that thing and move that stop.
Well, I played it on a lower time frame. I'm waiting on my computer to start up to tell you why I took it. I took it off. Yep, I think it was a 5 or 15 minute 80-20. Oh, I'm sorry, because I don't remember. I just looked and I said I'm gonna give this a try. I want to say it must have been a 5 minute, and it broke the cloud because I am at 144.85. And I want to say I just played that leg.
Let's push here.
144.85.
44485. You got that way down here. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Because that fib did get taken out. So we'll run this off the high. Yeah. Right there.
But I did not, and the reason why I said I was bad is because I did not look at my higher time frame. So I'm going to admit that.
Okay. Well, look. So here's the deal, though, right? Let's
I ain't on my spatial reasoning.
44485. 485. And you're long?
Yep.
That's a beautiful play, right? Yeah, you took it in a different scenario, right? But looking at these lower time frames, we'll go back to the 15 and see what it looks like there. Depending on how you got your rule set up, you got your cloud break and you got your push, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little different in here depending on where you actually pull the trigger at, but it's moving in your favor, right? So let's go to the 15. So the thing is just, right, nailing down the rules and sticking to those so that you're consistent with it.
Well, the one rule I did make sure I just followed the cloud rules. That was it. And then I seen where I was at that time on the fib. And then plus it was a breakout. And I want to say I was playing the breakout. You know, I'm bad with journaling. I'm so bad because I've been in this since 6:30.
Since
So I've been
6:30.
through the tussle.
Oh,
So
geez. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I've been in here since 6:30. And I think because I was looking for a continuation off the
So you were
cloud, not
back here.
necessarily using a fib. Yeah.
So you saw all this happen. Okay.
Yep, I did.
Wow.
But I was looking for price to come back where it originally broke. So then to see if it was going to be a continuance. And I think I went ahead. And the reason why I held on to this because we're long on the euro. I knew there was some funny business with the cat, and I just wanted to get to understand how it fluctuates
Okay.
between a long pair and a commodity. I just wanted to see how it played. And then when I seen that it was going through all of this and then it broke down. But what it was is that the cash, because I also use my stock RSI, it remained in the buy area, even though it was at those high levels at that time, it had remained in the buy level. So I'm like, it gotta push up at some time. So I just held on to it.
Well, you have a reasoning for the reason you pulled the trigger on, right? And that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing is understanding why you took the trade, right? Now, as you continue to move forward, right? Building in solid rules. So now you're able to experience what that looks like. And it sounds like to me this potential trade was more about the fundamental side of things and the cloud opposed to a sweet spot, right? Which is still
Okay.
cool because, right? And that's why we talk about fundamentals the way that we do. And Benny really talks about the global economic view of everything because when you have these scenarios and you understand what's happening from a fundamental perspective, these longer term moves you're able to see, right? So now you have an understanding of it. You understand what you were looking for. You understand why you took the trade. Now, what constraints can you build around that if you want to add that into your trade plan, right? Part of that discovery phase, right?
Okay.
Part of that discovery phase. So now is it something that you want to continue adding into your trading plan? And can you add that to, right? Because now you understand what that global economic piece looks like. Now, how do you add that to the fib rules and support and resistance? Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that process, what it'll do is it'll continue to lead you down some of these longer term plays, like entering off of these support levels, right? With that global economic view. So now instead of entering somewhere in here, right, now you're taking this entry off the support because of what you understand from a fundamental perspective and how things are moving. So instead of 200 pips, now you're looking at 300 on that move there. Or when price was up here, understanding what's happening fundamentally, right? You get that whole 800 pip move to the downside, right? And even deeper, that'll lead you to some of these more position trades, right? Where when we saw the euro shifting, right, at the end, towards the end of last year, right? This was a trade that we saw. And some of us took this 80-20 scenario off the weekly time frame, right? And made that ride to the upside. That'll lead to you staying in more of these longer term moves, capturing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 pips, right?
So that's more
So good.
positional trading on the weekly and the monthly.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Okay, I got
these you're staying in for 6, 8, 9 months sometimes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm aiming for. Yeah, I just want to see how I was trying to see how I want to handle it because I want to know when and which pairs is best to use that stop and profit. Because of course I put my stop and profit on them JPYs, but I never went back to go look to say, do I need to get back in? Did I make money? Sure, I made some money. But I took what old boy, said kind of hard. Like I put myself if once the price move, if I was just looking for 50 pips or 85 pips, I'm just gonna put my stop and profit right there. Price come back, it come back, and if not, if not. and I've been trying to set and forget it.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to follow this one because I wanted to ride the waves.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, it
So
absolutely does.
I wanted to play that zone to that next zone to take it back down and then see if I can hold it longer on the way back down.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a test of your patience, test of you allowing price to do what it's going to do. And I follow your thought process, right?
Okay,
And
thank you for letting me know I'm crazy.
no, right? But again, it's all part of that discovery phase, right? Because you're moving to another level, right? You're moving to another level. So you have the foundation, you understand the rules, you understand the sweet spots, you understand support resistance very, very soundly, right? Now it's about how do you manage your trades? How do you look at it from a larger perspective and truly coming into that swing trading, position trading trader that you desire to be? And this is the next step in that, right? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Which you understand now what it feels like to go through those ebbs and flows of price moving into profit, coming back into drawdown, and then long-term swinging in your favor, right?
Yeah.
You're paying attention to those things, and that's key. That's key. That's what we've been talking about for 2 years, right? Understanding what it feels like to go through this process. And through that, you're able to develop the patience that's necessary to do everything that you desire to do in this space, right? That's the process. That's the process. Kudos to you, man. I love it. I love it. Great work.
Thank you.
All right. So boom, there we go. All right. Appreciate that conversation, Joy. So we'll watch this now when we get to that daily level, see if we get that reversal there. Okay. Heck yeah, drop some sevens in the chat for Joy. Great work. Great work. Looked at the euro. Let's look at this euro GBP. We talked about it over the weekend, right? And it's pressing down, came back to the support level, right? Deep retracement now. We're at a 786 level. Double bottom here. So we want to see if this daily level holds or it gets broken, 85, 188, right? And that's going to be key. If this level holds, we'll see a push, and we could potentially see a push for a minute, right? If it gets broken, we'll see things tumble, and then we'll be looking at 82,064. Okay, so that's off the daily. Coming to the 4. All right, coming to the 4. Here's that key level, right? Tried to break through it, but we'll see what happens on the close of this candle, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at this level. So I want to see if it holds or if it gets broken, right? Here on the 4 hour, we got a 618 retracement. So if it gets broken, right, D extension there, those lower levels are there. Okay, so got some levels below. So that's going to be key right here. Coming down to the 1. Right, we got the 50% push, but does this daily level hold? That's going to be the question. Okay, that's going to be the question. So we'll watch that and see what happens, see if we get that breaking continuation or a reversal out of that. Okay, so that's the Euro GBP. Not a ton happening right now. Looked at the Euro Yen, Euro NZD. So this one is interesting, right? We got that rate statement coming tonight. On the weekly time frame, I have this crown pattern mapped out. We'll see if it plays out, right? We got this weekly level here at 1808. See if we push to the upside, continue pushing to the upside, we break that level, we continue long, right? But if this level continues to hold, we could see this turn over and press back down to the downside. So we'll watch this to see what happens. Coming to the 4, I'm sorry, to the daily, we got that 236, that 382 retracement here, right? So in theory, the matching D extension is here, 185, right? Got some levels to break through still to get there. So we're watching to see if we're able to break through those levels to continue long. Okay. Continue marching to the 4. Whoops. To the 4, right? We got a nice deep retracement here, 618 in the zone like we wanted it to. It's been bouncing and been moving, but it's trying to make its way, right? So if this fib plays out, matching the extension is there, right? And we're riding along to that 1808 level. Okay. So we're long right now, and we're continuing to push to the upside. Okay. We got key levels that we'll keep our eyes on to see what happens as we get there. Okay. But pressing long nonetheless. Okay. And we'll see what happens with this rate statement tonight. 75.922. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this rate statement tonight. If they hold, could see this break this daily level and continue to rise. Coming down to the 1, here was the 80-20. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, take off. Right? After that long push back down into the sweet spot on that 4-hour fib, this is what we had. And that's the rise to the upside there. Right? Strong push, pull back. Right? Crown pattern. Boom. It's an ugly one, but it's a crown pattern, and we're running. Right? We got the pullback that we needed, and we took off. Okay. So this one's moving to the upside. We'll track it. Run a new fib off the low since the A got taken out. And we just hit a D extension. So pull back, continuation long. Okay, from a higher time frame perspective. So we're running there. Okay. Off that just shy of that 618 retracement. That's 220 pips to the upside. Over and over and over again, the sequence plays out, man. Over and over and over and over again. So we'll watch this daily level and then that weekly level as we get there. Okay. Euro dollar. Just like the dollar, the DXY, right? Pressing into key levels. Pressing into this weekly level. We're getting a reaction now. So we want to watch this to see what transpires here. Right? This is the range. We're at the top of the range now. Do we come back down to the bottom of the range? That's the question. Coming to the 4, right? This canceled. Boom. There we are. Right? So what happens here is the question. Do we continue to press down or do we continue long? Okay. Coming down to the, let me see something. Yeah, that fib is the same as the daily. Coming down to the 1. We're slowly making our way to the D extension. Got a 50% retracement. Beautiful press to the upside. And the extension is there at 110. Right? So we're looking for a break of this level at 110.312. Get to that level of 110.810. Right? So pulling back now. Pulling back now. Let's see if we get a continuation here. Okay. So if we run a sub fib, smaller waves to the upside here. Which one? Next one. Off of the low. Yep. Okay. So run a sub fib off of this low point here. Boom. Right. Sub fib potential 80-20, but we might just come back and test this B boundary. right? So we'll see if we get a pullback to the B boundary and then a continuation long. Yep, this is an 80-20 right here, right? But looking for this to potentially continue long here, right? Because remember, right? So we look at the DXY, and we're pressing down to this daily support level, right? So the DXY is inverse to the euro dollar, right? Or euro dollar is inverse to the DXY. So we're looking for price to get to this 12,765 level on the DXY, right? Which could mean if that happens, we could see further movement to the upside on this euro dollar, which puts us right into the D extension on this euro dollar, right? So that's what we're looking at here. So this sub fib 80-20 could not play out because there's a larger move in play, right? Pushing us to the matching D extension. So looking for a pullback of some sort, and then looking for a continuation to get to the matching D extension here. Okay. So that's where we are on the euro dollar. Any questions on these euro pairs? Take a look at the euro Swiss real quick. This one is in an interesting space. Any questions on that euro dollar though?
No.
All right, cool deal. And then there's euro Swiss. So it's interesting about this one. We come back. We got a 382 push here. Came back down to these key levels, right? We're long euro, right? Long euro, pressing back down, got a weekly level at 96,737, right? So want to see what happens here, see if we get a reversal, right? So as we move down through the time frames, right? We got a 786 retracement matching the extension is here at 96,209, right? But do we get there is the question. Okay, we're breaking through this level here, looking to see if we get if we get price to turn back over and press long, right? On a double bottom scenario here. Coming down to the one, right? This is where we are on the one, right? Deep retracement, 8-6 level. Yes, we're hovering at this weekly support level, right? Trying to break it. But do we stay inside this A boundary and do we get a turn? Okay, that's what I'm looking at here on this euro Swiss. Okay, do we get a reversal and do we get a press to the upside? Okay, off of a deep retracement, right? Long euro. This is a capital fib, larger move here, right? We did get a 786 retracement there, 618 retracement actually. So if we continue down and take out this A on the sub fib, right, that D extension is in line, right? But I'm looking at the smaller wave. It's a longer drawn out move, right? But bullish on the euro. So I'm looking at this smaller wave here to see if we get a reversal. Okay, so we'll watch that and see how that transpires, see if we get that push on the sub fib. Right now, not so much, pressing to the downside. Okay, so that's the euro Swiss. Questions on any of the euros? Nope. Cool. And last one I'm looking at is this pound CAD. Check the progress of this move. Right, from a daily perspective, we got a 382, been pushing to the upside, right? And we also had this crown pattern that Jeremy put us hip to. Right, and we've been long. Okay, so coming down to the 4, see it a bit better. Boom. 618, 786 retracement here, pressing to the upside. Right, and here's that crown pattern. Foresee the right tip and look at it long to the upside. So it's been a great move to the upside so far. Off my entry there, we're at 324 pips with a little bit to go. Okay, so we're moving along, coming down to the 1. We're running fib off the low just to track the progress of the waves. Okay, come to this next low, boom. And that's where we are, 50% retracement, boom. Now we got to break through this weekly level, right? Break, retest, continuation long. Okay, so that's where we are. That's the pound CAD to the upside, up over 300 pips on that one, and still ride. All right, questions on the pound CAD?
No.
Nope. Cool deal. All right, good people. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? No?
No.
All right, man. Look, continue putting in the work. It's worth it. It's work. It can be difficult at times, right? But the more you do it, the better you become, right? It's about progress, not perfection. So keep finding that 1%. Find your 1% today. Do one thing today that'll get you closer to the goals that you desire. All right. We'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. You guys have an awesome day. Peace.